Hey everyone, welcome to the Idiot Podcast starring this idiot right here. This ovulating idiot. I'm an ovulating idiot right now. Yo, I just don't remember this ovulation period being so extreme, and it's probably, you're all going to say it's because you're getting older. It's because you're getting older past 35. Everything changes, Laura. Don't you know I'm just a 25-year-old girl born in 1986? Leave me alone. I'm just a teenager. But, you know, more than horny, because I'm normally really horny during ovulation. I'm still horny. I literally got turned on by a cactus on my morning walk the other day. It looked like it was very phallic. And I just saw it and immediately... There was an ad for a baguette on Instagram, and I almost came. Hey, Mom, if you're watching, I know you're proud of me. But beyond my horniness, I can't stop eating. And I think my testosterone is up because I just find myself going, ugh! Good. Oh! God. Oh, I think it's maybe my testosterone's up, but also I'm not working out. I'm not working out because I fell into a pile of hard suitcases at TJ Maxx on purpose. We talked about this last week. I'm not going to go over it again. I fell into a stack of suitcases at TJ Maxx on purpose. And my hip is still messed up. And no, I haven't been to the doctor. But I'm going to, because all of y'all are yelling at me to go. And I'm gonna. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I haven't been doing yoga. And when I don't do yoga, I'm convinced I have bipolar. Not bipolar, but it's not mania. It's just like I have anxiety and a lot of energy because I'm not sweating it out and working out. Basically, I haven't worked out in a few weeks, okay? So I feel on edge. But on top of that, I'm ovulating. I can't stop eating. I'm literally, I can't tell you, I wake up in the morning, and normally I like to do intermittent fasting. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I love it. When I was pregnant, I gained like 50 pounds with each kid. And intermittent fasting was the only way that I was able to lose the baby weight. I love it. But forget that during ovulation. And they say like certain times of the month, you shouldn't intermittent fast, like you need food right away. So I'm a big proponent of listening to my body, and my body right in the morning when I wake up is like, eat, food, healthy fat. So I just do it. So like I wake up in the morning and I'm just hungry right away. And then all through the day, I just can't stop eating. I had a meeting at 9 a.m. I was giving my sponsor a cake. She turned 44 years sober today. 44 years sober. So I got to go to this book study meeting and give her a cake. And when I tell you that woman has saved my life time and time again, I just can't even begin. She's such an inspiration to me. And I really lucked out because she's an actual marriage and family therapist for like 30 years. So I got like an actual therapist to be my sponsor. And basically, for those of you who aren't a part of any 12-step program, a sponsor is someone that takes you through these 12 steps. And there is someone that you call every single day. You check in with them. You let them know if you're resentful, if you're in fear, if you're frustrated, and they help you find solutions and talk through things and do step work around it. It's amazing. It's like the most, it's like a mentor. I recommend it for everyone, even if you're not an alcoholic. I mean, truly, there's a 12-step program for literally everything. But anyway, so I gave her a cake, and then I had another meeting about my book after that because my third book is out, y'all. It's not out, sorry, but it's going to be out next summer, and it's due in like a week. So I have so much work to do. So I've been deep in my book, and I'm so scared about that. But anyway, so I had another meeting I had to get to, and dude, I like pulled over like a psycho to this cafe to like shove avocado toast into my mouth, even though I knew I was going to be late to this meeting because I needed more food. That's not normal. I had just eaten, but I was like, I need to pull over and eat more now. I don't care if I'm late. It's very strange. And then last night I like ate this big thing of lentil spinach spicy curry. And then Alfie asked for mac and cheese. And so I heated up some mac and cheese. Well, he had leftover mac and cheese. Did I eat the cold, manky leftover mac and cheese? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah, I inhaled that shit. Okay. And then he had some old puffs on the counter. Yeah, ate those too. Everything in my sight goes in my mouth right now. I'd eat that cactus if I could. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know why that's happening. Kendra says I eat while falling asleep. For those of you guys listening or watching, I go live. These episodes are live on my Patreon. So if you want to comment and be a part of the episode, join my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Laura Clary. That's patreon.com/Laura Clary. Yeah. So my third book is coming out, you guys, next summer. And so I'm turning it in next week. And it's just like, I want to say it's the best book I've ever written, but who knows? It certainly was the hardest one. And I think y'all know why. It really tracks the last 3 years of my life. It's less of a collection of essays and more like a mini memoir of the last 3 years. And it's a page turner. Gotta find the silver lining in the shit show that's been my life. Gotta find that silver lining. And hey, at least I got a third book out of it. And I'm hoping that women around the world won't feel so alone from reading that. And if you don't relate, good. Maybe it's just will be very entertaining for you. And if you do relate, great, you're not alone. Let's see, I had a few topics. Okay, so whatever, dude. Everything's good. I've been like diving back into my 12-step program. You guys all have 14 years on the 29th of this month. So I'm so excited about that. And I've been just going to meetings every single day, reaching out to newcomers, meeting new sober people, just really diving in to my program. Because I think I'm just in fear around my book and around, stuff that I can't really talk about anymore. If you catch my drift. So yeah, that's going on. It's all good. I'm managing it all somehow, some way. The kids are, healthy and safe. We're having a good time. Alfie's obsessed with music now. Poppy's telling stories and creating characters. It's all awesome. Love you guys. So, okay. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys about I'm very curious about this. Are you able to separate people from their politics? I want to know. Tell me that. Or do you think beliefs are such a big part of your identity that it's impossible or it feels impossible? Like, have you ever loved someone so deeply, a friend or family member, whatever, and then found out their political views make you want to vomit profusely? I'm curious. Because I think I had an issue with that recently, and it was kind of like jarring because I think, you just assume, right, that your friends or your family are like on the same, I hate to say the same side, but because that sounds so divisive, right? Yeah, Kendra says, yes, I can. Our souls are different than politics. Rose says, depends on the topic. Some topics, absolutely not. Kathleen says, I try not to find out about their politics. Yeah, it's certainly like in the 12-step program that I'm in, we don't talk about politics. We don't. And somehow everyone gets along, And my mom always taught me, like at family parties, that was always the rule. It was like, we don't talk about politics or religion. That's it, Laura. We don't. I had an aunt who, and this was back when I was a kid, and she was I remember on Thanksgiving, she was talking shit about George Bush. What a piece of shit he was. And my other aunt was super conservative and was like, how dare you disrespect our president? Dude, when I tell you my one aunt wrote my other aunt out of the will, they never spoke after that. After that Thanksgiving dinner, they never spoke again. Out of the will, you're dead to me, because they had different political beliefs. I personally have one of my best friends kind of like came out telling me that she has some political beliefs that differ from mine. And there was this part of me that felt combative at first, or like confused. And I think it was because I felt like she was maybe trying to push them on me a little bit, and I didn't want to talk about it. You know, it was like, hey, let's agree to disagree. But then part of me felt like, are you part of my tribe? You know, I don't know. It was really interesting. In the end, we're still friends, and we just don't talk about it because we're just agreeing to disagree on, like I said, on certain things. And, but I know, like I've seen a lot, like on TikTok, just on the internet, of people disowning their family members or their friends, or saying like, if you support this politician, unfollow me, block me, I don't want to see you, da 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 da. Oh my God, dude. I just posted, because the No Kings protests are going on right now across the country. And it was really cool to drive by one of the protests. Like, it was awesome. But I had posted something about, in fact, I'll tell you exactly what I said, because I don't even think that this is controversial at all. I posted and I asked my audience, I said, if you stand behind ICE, and I'm not talking about deporting violent criminals, I'm talking about an agency that has torn families apart, taken children out of foster care homes, detained people for years without due process, and terrorized communities of immigrants whose only crime was seeking a better life. If you support that, can you please explain why? And dude, the amount of people who were just like so outraged that I genuinely wanted an explanation. I wanted an explanation. Why? Why do you support that? And it was like, ice, ice, baby, you, block, unfollow. You know, it's like, well, that's not answering my question. You're just like so set in your ways that you're not able to explain to me why you support that. Yeah, Rochelle says, oof, that comments section was crazy. Yo, I was wondering, like, damn, I had no idea how many racist people followed me. And I really do think it's because I have blonde hair. And it really made me consider dyeing my hair a different color. You know? Deanna says you should go purple. Just saying. Yo. It's the blonde treatment, dude. Like, I can't tell you how many racist motherfuckers were following me. And they all, or the majority of them, had like a monster truck as their profile picture. It was either the monster truck or like dude holding a fish. It's disgusting. So like, in a way, I'm not actually, let the trash take itself out. Right, exactly. Like, do I want a bunch of racists following me? No. Dude, one of my childhood best friend's husband commented under that, where I said, if you support this, you know, why? Can you explain why you support this? Like children being ripped from their foster care homes, you know? And dude, my friend's husband, who's a fucking immigrant, wrote under the comment section, ice, ice, baby. And the way that I just wanted to be like, I don't know, have some empathy. Like, you're an immigrant yourself. And look, he married her for a green card. Just shut the up, dude. You know? But again, I don't know. Like, okay, all right. I asked for it by asking the question. It was just kind of shocking. Whatever. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know your thoughts on that. Caro says it's fear. It's a desperation to belong on either side. Yes, that's right, Lindsay. Yes. Okay, next topic. This one's a little more fun, but I'm so curious about that because a lot of people cut their family off. No contact. No contact. Mother's dead to me because of different political beliefs. I feel like I'm able to separate it a little more. Maybe I just learned that in my 12-step program. But I'm also feel like most of my friends are on the same page with the issues that actually matter to us. You know what I mean? So anyway, open relationships. Anybody in them? Anyone like the with multiple people? How do y'all do that? How y'all be humping several humans at once? Don't you guys get a little tired? I want to know. I've never done it. I don't think I'm cut out for it. I think I'm not because I think I'm better than you, because I'm jealous and psychotic. So no, that would not work for me, I don't think. But I want to know your experience. Have you been in an open relationship? What was it like? What were the perks? What were the setbacks? Dude, I met this woman. I don't know if y'all saw her on my podcast. This chick is like 67 years old. She's banging half of her town. So is her husband. She's got a boyfriend. She's got a girlfriend. She's got a husband. Her husband's got a boyfriend, got a girlfriend. They're all in bed together. She's like, oh yeah, some days every hole is filled at once. I've got a young pussy. It was insane. That was an insane interview. Her name was Susan the Sexpert. But she talked about this thing called compersion, which was really interesting to me because I had never heard that word before. And I'm going to tell you the definition right now. I don't want to butcher it. So compersion, it's a new term, and it's like the opposite of jealousy. So you're supposed to feel happy when your partner sleeps with someone else. Let me repeat that. You're supposed to feel happy when your partner bangs someone else. Good for you. Was it fun? Did you come? That's so cool. Yeah, that's not going to work for me. But it's a thing. It's called compersion. And apparently I would think you would need to have that or practice that in order to have a successful open relationship. Deanna says, emotionally, I think it would be very challenging. Ooh. Dialia says, I would love another woman in my household. Okay, Dialia, but would you care if your husband was banging her? I knew someone, not obviously going to say who, but him and his then wife went to a therapist, ended up dating the therapist. Therapist moved into the house. Now the three of them are in a throuple. And he said it was a nightmare. Obviously. He said it was a nightmare because one week he started liking her more, and then she got jealous, and then the girl and the therapist were bonding, and then he felt left out, and it was just like weird and tension. And I mean, obviously that's a terrible idea. Elizabeth says, I'm open to others doing as they please. Obviously, yeah. Long as everyone is aware and agree. I'm not interested myself because it just exhausts me to consider being that open with another person. Dude, and talk about like how time consuming that is. I feel like being in a relationship with one person is exhausting. Can you imagine being in a relationship with 4? I guess if you're seeing each of them once a week, that's still 4 nights out of the week. Jennifer just says, I'll open up this household for a woman who cooks and cleans. No, Kendra, we are not judging others for what they enjoy. I'm just curious and very nosy. Like, I just want to know about your sex life right away. Right away. Like, if I meet you at a cafe, you're going to be telling me your favorite position in 15 minutes. Because I just want to know details. I'm just nosy and I'm interested. Tell me more. Tell me more. One time when I was in my 20s, I got locked out of my apartment at 9 a.m. So I was living with my best friend, Jack, at the time. He'd gone off to work. And I go to this cafe in the morning and I realize I don't have my keys. So it's early in the morning. He's off at work. He's gone until 5 p.m. I took my bicycle to the cafe and I look at my purse. There's no keys. So I'm locked out all day, right? He's across town at work. I don't have my car. I don't have a car. And I just got to wait for him to get back home. So what do, you ask? I sit at this cafe called Kings Road Cafe in West Hollywood for literally 8 hours. I sit there for 8 hours waiting for Jack to get home from work. And I talk to every poor soul there in that cafe. The woman next to me, how are you? Where are you from? Oh, what are your favorite hobbies? Do you prefer doggy style or missionary? Everyone I'm talking to. Then I come across this old man who's a philosopher. He's probably 85 years old. He starts telling me about the war and how he moved here from Ireland and all sorts of stuff. Then I see another man across the way. This is probably about 6 coffees and 4 hours later. And I see this guy, late 20-something. And he looks familiar. He looks really familiar. And I'm like, oh my God, do I know him? Is it someone I know? So I walk up to this man who's sitting by himself. And I said, excuse me, sir, you look really familiar. And he looks up, he says, huh? And I said, do you mind if I sit down? And I sit down. I just sit down. I don't even wait for him to say, sure. And I sit down and I go, gosh, where do I know you from? And man, where could it be? You just look so familiar. And he goes, I'm not sure where you know me from, but I'm actually meeting someone here. And I was like, oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, no, I'll go. I'm going to go. What's your favorite position? No, you don't want to tell me? Okay, I'll go. I'm going to go. I'm going to go talk to that dog over there. So I get up and I go. Cut to a week later, okay? I get a phone call from an unknown number. It doesn't say unknown. It's a number, but that I don't know. And in these days, you answered when someone called you. Now I get like 50 sales calls a day. It's insane. So I pick up the phone. I say, hello. And on the other line, I hear, Laura? And I said, yeah, this is Laura. Who's this? And he said, it's Peter. And I said, Peter? I don't know a Peter. And he goes, oh, remember last week you came and you sat down at my table and just started talking at me and you said I looked familiar? And I said, yeah, I do remember. How did you get my number? And he said, I realized where you knew me from, why I looked familiar. I'm friends with your sister's fiance, Greg. I said, oh my God, you're friends with Greg. That makes sense. So I've seen you at those parties. And he said, yeah. He goes, anyway, I'm a director and I'm casting the role of a crazy actress for this new AMC series starring Adam Goldberg and Jeffrey Tambor. And it's on AMC, and the role is a crazy actress. And I think you'd be perfect for it. And I was like, oh, amazing. Great. This is amazing. So he sends me the information for this role, and I audition for it, and I book the role. And it was fucking amazing. I did the whole season of this show. It was called The Trivial Pursuits of Arthur Banks. And it was starring, Jeffrey Tambor and Adam Goldberg. There were a few other actors in there that you'd probably recognize. But I played this crazy actress. And I just thought it was so funny. And then, dude, that same director called me maybe a year later and was like, hey, I'm in New York filming a movie starring Jason Bateman. It's called The Longest Week. And I'm casting the role of a dumb model named Bunny. I think you'd be perfect for it. I was like, is this dude like roasting me? He's like, psychotic actress and dumbass model? You'd be perfect. So I was like, absolutely, I'll play a dumb vacant model named Bunny. So I auditioned for that over Zoom like a month or two later. And yeah, I flew to New York for an entire month. And it was an independent film where I played Jason Bateman's girlfriend. That was starring Olivia Wilde and Jason Bateman. And it wasn't a big part, but it was fun. And I got to be in bed with Jason Bateman. So who doesn't love that? I remember just laying in bed with Jason Bateman in my underwear, just like chatting with him. And he was so cool and so fun. But I remember it was an independent film. And so there was no budget. Like I made nothing on that movie, or just a few $100s a day, which isn't nothing, but they weren't paying for my flights. They weren't paying for my hotel. And at the time I was 25 years old, 24 or 25 years old. I was broke as a joke. And I was broke as a joke. And I was like a month sober at the time. And I remember he was like, the role is yours as long as you can fly yourself out to New York and put yourself up for a month. And I'm like, dude, I barely have money for this sandwich. Like, how do you expect me to do that? He's like, figure it out or I have to hire someone here. And obviously in New York City, there's dumb models crawling everywhere in that town. So I wanted that role. So I called my sister. I begged her for money for a flight. It was funny. At the time, I was just dating Steven, and I asked him for help too. He helped me with like a hotel, I think. I was just begging friends and family to help me because I couldn't afford to get out there and actually stay for that month. Then I was like, there's no way I can get a hotel for a month. That's insane. So I looked on Facebook to see if any of the friends that I had grown up with happened to be in New York, because I would just hit them up. Anyone that I knew, I would hit up. So on Facebook, I see my friend Kelly. Kelly and I had done theater together in high school. She was a really sweet, funny, interesting, eccentric girl that I had done theater with in high school. And it says that she's in New York City. I was like, oh my God, perfect. So I messaged her. I was like, hey girl, I know we haven't talked since algebra, but I booked a movie in New York and they're not paying for me to, for my, what do you call it? For me to stay in New York. So I'm wondering, can I possibly stay with you even if it's just for a few days? And she was like, absolutely, no problem. So I fly to New York. I then take a taxi to, I believe it was the Lower East Side where she lived. And then I call her, tell her I'm there. And I go into her apartment and it's this tiny studio, probably smaller than this room right here. It's just, you walk in and there's just a bed and then a kitchen right next to it and then a bathroom right next to that. And that's it. Anyone who's lived in New York City, you know. And I was like, okay. All right. So we went from not hanging out since theater in high school to sharing a queen size bed. Maybe it was a twin. I don't know. Everything was very small. And we just laid there together like, so do you remember Miss Haiti? Yeah, she was crazy. And then I remember Kelly looked at me. She goes, "You want some weed?" Because I'm sure she got it for me because she knew I was a big stoner in high school. And she was like, "Oh, my stoner high school friend is coming to stay in New York. I got to get her some weed." And I was already freaking out about not being able to maintain my sobriety, being across the country, not having my support group, not knowing anyone, and possibly coming into contact with people who were using or drinking. So the first night I'm there, she pulls out this beautiful big bag of weed and asks me if I want to share a joint. And I had to pray and just say, "No, I'm actually 30 days sober. I don't do that anymore." And she was like, "Oh, no worries." And that was that. And I probably stayed there for like a few weeks. Then I was like, I got to get out of this studio. And I look back on Facebook and I see this other director who I had done a short film with who happened to be in New York. And I hit him up. And he was in Brooklyn. And I said, "Hey, do you have an extra room? I'm doing this movie with Jason Bateman, but they're not paying me anything. And I really want to do the movie." So he says, "Yeah, I got you." He goes, "I got a couch in my basement. You can sleep there." And I was like, perfect. So I go there. He's got like 5 roommates on the top floor. And then in the basement, that's like where they play video games and probably drink and party. And there's a dusty ass, dirty ass, ripped ass old couch. And he's like, "There's your bed." And I'm like, love it. So I set up in this little grungy basement and I'm kind of freaking out again. I'm feeling like nervous and anxious and I don't know anyone. And I meet one of his roommates whose name was Lauren. I'll never forget. And she, we introduced each other and just small talk. And then she's like, "All right, I got to go. I'm going to this meeting." And I said, "What meeting?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm in the program. I'm in like Alcoholics Anonymous." And I was like, "What? No way." And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Can I come?" And she was like, "Of course." Dude, when I tell you, she had like a few months clean too. We ended up going to meetings every single day that we could, that I wasn't on set, going to meetings all over New York City. It was so much fun. I met like all these sober people all across the city. And it's funny because that's what they call in the rooms of AA. That's what they call a God shot, where it's like these things happen and they just feel too coincidental, I guess, or serendipitous. They just call it a God shot. I think it's kind of cool because I was freaking out that I wouldn't be able to stay sober. And then one of these girls is in the program and was walking to a meeting and like really held me accountable that whole time. And it was the coolest thing ever. And the movie was great. It's called The Longest Week if you want to look it up on Netflix. Okay, Kendra says here, "I don't consider weed a bad drug. It's miracle stuff for my pain." Dude, Kendra, I want to say this. She goes, "It's miracle stuff for my pain instead of opioids." I am not judging anyone who uses, for I wish I could still smoke weed. I just can't for me, because for me, it will lead me back to the harder stuff, which was really a problem for me. I tried being California sober, not doing hard drugs or drinking, but just weed. And I couldn't do it. I could not do it. The only thing I've been able to do in my sobriety is CBD. That's the only thing that doesn't release the phenomenon of craving. It calms me. I'm able to sleep better, but it doesn't, release or trigger the obsession of the mind and that craving for me, which is what a lot of alcoholics experience. There are a lot of people. My best friend smokes weed every day for his anxiety. And he can do it, and he can do it safely, and he can function in the world. His life is not unmanageable. So in no way am I saying that, or judging or whatever. I think it works for a lot of people. It just doesn't work for me. And so that's that. Bitch. No, not you, bitch. Just yes, bitch. I'm just like saying bitch a lot today. Not you. Okay, so that's my story. Isn't that fun? So I guess the moral of the story is talk to strangers because you never know what's going to happen. All I did was talk to a stranger and I got 2 incredible roles. Are you kidding? Or maybe the moral of the story is lose your keys. Just step outside your house with no keys and then you're forced to connect with your community. and get to know people around you. It's kind of awesome. I think that's why I like the 12-step program, because everyone's so f***ing isolated now. No one talks to anyone. And then you go to support group meetings and everyone's talking to each other and connecting, all different walks of life. It's incredible. Yes, Lindsay says, everyone gets to set the terms for their own sobriety. Lindsay, that's really interesting. And just to piggyback on that, Lindsay, I totally agree. There's actually a group of people in the rooms in Los Angeles, and it's something like psychedelics in sobriety or something like that. It's people who use certain psychedelics like psilocybin, and there's another one that I'm blanking on that's like a psychedelic, but they use it for medicinal purposes and they do it in like a safe environment. And it seems to work for them. And I'm not advocating them. And I've also not been in that group. And I think that terrifies me, especially as a mom who already, is a little out there. I don't want to mess up anything else in this brain. So I worry, you hear stories about people taking too many mushrooms or too much acid and then they become schizophrenic or something like that. And I just wouldn't want to risk it. But you make your terms on what works for you. Like even CBD, I asked my sponsor, I was like, is this okay? And she was like, does it work for you? And it's like, yes, it does. We were going to try a little segment where we chat about what's going viral right now in the world. Oh my gosh. Woman arrested for lewd conduct because she was dressed in a penis suit with a sign that said, "No dictator." 3 cops on a 53-year-old woman. Wow. Oh my God. 3 cops on a 53-year-old massive dick. But I just want to know why. Oh, okay. She was arrested for lewd conduct. See, I find that really interesting because I have literally walked the streets for a way less noble purpose than why she was walking the streets. I mean, she was protesting for something that mattered to her. I was just walking around as a giant vagina because I thought it was funny for a video. And I have also walked around the streets of LA in a giant penis costume too, and nobody arrested me for lewd conduct. So I find that really interesting. And if you want to put up the clips of me walking around as a massive vagina and a massive dick, you guys can do that in post, and I highly recommend you do. They're called post-Halloween walk of shame. And I've always thought this concept was funny, to where like you hook up with someone on Halloween night and then the next morning you got to do the walk of shame. But imagine if your costume was just so absurd. So like one year I was dressed as a vagina and I was like, how funny if she had to like take the bus home or like take the bus straight to work. So I literally, walk out of the guy's house in my massive vagina costume, hop on the bus, walk past a high school, and then into my office. Okay, ICE officer arrested for DUI tries to stop the arrest by racially profiling the officers arresting him. Oh my God.
Are you serious right now? You know what? Call my supervisor.
Okay. Do you want to do the exercises or no?
I'll do it. But you know what? What's homeboy doing down there? Guys, come on.
Make sure we all sit, because when it's out of the water, you don't want to get hit. You don't want you to get hit. That's why I'm trying to do the exercise. That way we can move on.
Are you Haitian?
That's nothing to do with my wrist, buddy.
My question was, are you Haitian?
Ew. Are we surprised though? No, we're not surprised.
Look, man, I really need you to do the exercise. If you're a cop, whatever.
Yeah, I'm fucking law enforcement,
okay,
dude.
Then stop talking and sit in the back of the car and stop. Stop this.
Dude, I would be surprised if the ICE officer didn't racially profile the officer. That's what would be shocking to me. This isn't shocking at all. Brazen thieves are walking into hotels and enjoying complimentary buffet breakfasts and getting away with it. Who doesn't do that? Okay, so they're calling them serial thieves. And it's not just guests who are taking advantage of complimentary hotel breakfasts. A growing number of people off the street are purposely waltzing into establishments to snag a free meal. Dude, I gotta say, I get it, you know? I'm sure the people who are waltzing in are fucking struggling, you guys, because rent is just too high and things are too expensive and people are struggling. I bet you some of those people have full 9-to-5 jobs and are struggling to feed their families. So they want a freaking free bagel. I'm just saying, I empathize. If you're walking into a hotel to get some free Cheerios, you probably need the Cheerios. You probably need them. Stopping by a hotel for free breakfast without even booking a room. How dare you take their toast, you monster. Enter any mid-class hotel, Hampton Inn, Holiday Inn, Days Inn, right around the time they start serving breakfast, and the lobby part is empty. Most hotels of this class serve free breakfast. And I bet you a lot of that breakfast gets thrown away because people aren't eating it. So thank you to the civilians out there who are walking in without booking a room and eating those scrambled eggs because they probably get thrown out. Doing nothing was a lot harder than I thought. Gen Z is now raw dogging boredom. Gen Zs call meditating raw dogging boredom. They just got to make everything gross. So this is putting a lot of effort into being lazy. Generation Zers have devised a new way to mentally detox from digital distractions by undertaking challenges where they do nothing all day, as seen in TikTok clips with thousands of views. So if you're filming it on TikTok, you're not doing nothing all day. You're making content and you're monetizing it. So that's bullshit right there. The craze initially took off this past summer aboard flights with Gen Z filming themselves undertaking sky-high psychological fasts, but you're filming yourself. Okay, so yeah, I've heard about this. They're not using their phones or the screens on long flights. They're just, I think we just call that meditating, right? They're raw dogging boredom. So they're not using screens. I think that's great. I still think like filming yourself doing it is still, you're still getting that dopamine rush because you know you're going to write about how you're not using screens as you're using a screen to film yourself talking about how you're not using screens. And then you're going to get likes and follows and validation and dopamine hits from posting about not using screens on a screen that you're not using. Yeah, Kendra says it's called thinking. Yeah. Wild. Raw dogging boredom. That's funny, dude. I gotta say, I told you guys I met this comedian like a few months back who was fully off all social media. I was even like, you're so funny, you should do my podcast. He goes, I wouldn't do Joe Rogan's podcast if he asked me to. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I gotta go drive this Uber now. You know, because like no one knows he's performing because he doesn't promote his stuff on the internet because he's against the internet. And he still just watches TV like with commercials. He's like, let me call you back. Hold on. The commercials are off. It's back. The show's back on. I'm like, you know, you could pause it, right? What? He's a little stuck in the 90s. I'm starting to think he's insane. I don't know, but I get it. And my point is, he was inspiring and it taught me to just be present more. And I could still utilize social media technology, AI, you know, the internet, but be cautious and aware of how much time I'm spending. And then I ended up being like way more present with my kids, myself, whatever. Every generation getting stranger. Isn't that right, Stephanie? Every goddamn generation has gotten more strange. You guys are insane. You guys are out of your mind. What is wrong with you? You're raw dogging boredom? Do you guys think I should get spray tanned? Do you think that would make me happier? I'm not gonna lie. I saw a video the other day that was like, this girl, she's like, if you're feeling depressed and you want to end it all, like get a spray tan. I swear to God. She's posing. And then I looked down at my pasty ass iridescent skin. And I thought about that one commercial I did, a whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas commercial I did when I was 19 years old. And in the spot, I was wearing a bikini. And I walk out in my bikini feeling good. I've got this short black hair, blue bikini. I'm feeling hot. I walk out on set. The director takes one look at me and goes, "Get her to the spray tanning salon now. Get this bitch a spray tan now. She is not getting on camera like this." And she starts vomiting everywhere. So they throw me in a white van, take me to the local Vegas spray tan, and this chick sprays me down, and then I've got this like golden tan glow, and I come back and I kill the spot. Anyway, do you think a spray tan would solve my problem? That's all I'm asking you. Rachel says, no, I think you should get a new tattoo. Oh my God. So if I were to get a tattoo, because I have been thinking about it, obviously midlife crisis, hello. So I was thinking septum piercing, shut the up. No, seriously, because it would look cute right here with this. I love when people have one here and then one here. I'm just waiting because I'm shooting my book cover in 2 weeks, and I don't want to come to set with a bunch of face piercings. And they're like, what the Laura? What are you doing? So I'm going to wait. But I do want to maybe get one more piercing here. But then also, okay, so no spray tan, no spray tan. Okay, don't get septum. Wait, why not? Why not? Embrace the fair skin. Okay, all right. Don't get septum. You're not a cow. I don't know, bitch. I'm eating like one right now while ovulating. Okay, Deanna, I can't stop. I'm feeling very cow-like at the moment. Okay. Moo bitch. But anyway, if I were to get a tattoo, it would be my kids' names or their initials, obviously. Right? That's something I would never regret. I think any other tattoo I might regret, but my kids' names, never would I. But I don't know where I would do it or anything, you know? Okay. I'm going through cougar puberty. How it's better and worse than my teen years. Let's talk about it, y'all. I don't know why my producers pulled up this article. That has nothing to do with me. Why would you guys send me that? Why would you guys think that I would relate to that? Now the hormonal roller coaster known as menopause is getting a flashy revamp too. Move over, vajayjay. Cougar puberty is clawing its way into Suburban Dictionary. Just don't try and say it 10 times fast. Cougar puberty, 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 cougar puberty. That was easy. That's cool. I don't know. I'm about it. I get it. Like I told you guys I was on Cougar Talk. It's a whole thing. I was on Cougar Hunter Talk, and I was seeing all these women who were loving their age gap relationships with younger men. Seems to be working in many ways. A lot of them saying that the younger guys are actually way more emotionally intelligent and attentive and fun. And so if it works for you, great. I think so. For so long, men have been with younger women and no one bats an eye. My ex was 12 years older than me. No one ever batted an eye. No one ever was like, oh, wow, that's more than a decade. Okay. No, it was just normal. But if I were to be with a 26-year-old, it would be a thing. I think that girl, Kristen Cavallari, did it for a while. Whatever. A lot of women have done it. I heard that Cher was dating a 27-year-old. She's 72, but I gotta say, that's a little weird, but also she's just such a icon. I feel like Cher can do anything. I love her. Well, guys, I think that's a wrap. I'm trying to keep these episodes short because I know everyone's attention span is fucked. But if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe and follow so you don't miss an episode every single Wednesday. And if you want to enjoy these episodes live, go to my Patreon, patreon.com/Laura Clary. Patreon helps keep us going, helps us to continue to be able to produce this show every single week. And if you want to join and be a part of the show, please join patreon.com/Laura Clary. Also, side note, I've decided to not do a book club this month, but instead do a topic-based Zoom. So we're going to have our meeting as we do at the end of every month, but there's going to be no book, just a topic, because I personally am so insanely busy. There's no way I could finish a book. And I feel like a lot of you ladies are too. So I think we should vote on what we want the topic-led discussion to be and do that and have so much fun chatting. Okay. I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining. Y'all are amazing. I'm going to go eat more food. Obviously. All right. Until next time. Bye.